Hi guys, and welcome to another video by Vegan and Frodo. Thanks for being here again on my channel. Thanks for remembering to tune in, have a good time in life and participate in making good daily choices. Alright, so today's video is going to be, as you saw it in the title, on the book called Steve Jobs. There's this book there. Yeah. So it is the biography of Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, and it is written by Walter Isaacson. I don't know. But anyway, I think it's an amazing book. I have just finished reading it, and seriously, it blew me away. It's been so interesting. And I know this book is like freaking huge. It's like 700 pages or whatever. But especially when it was close to ending of the book, and basically the actual book goes through Steve Jobs' life, and it kind of talks about the beginning, how everything went. He was actually adopted. He talks about his birth parents. He talks about the parents that adopted him. He talks about his children. He talks about his family life. He talks about like the marriage and all that, and the girlfriends. He talks about the business. He talks about all the companies that he has started. He talks about his successes and failures, which I think is even more important, because as a founder of Apple, obviously he's a very successful man, but it does not mean that he was perfect. Doesn't mean that everything he has done was perfect, was done perfectly well. I'm just gonna fix this. Here you go. So, I would most definitely recommend reading this book to anyone, because I found it very, very interesting, and I kind of almost didn't want it to end just because how interesting I thought it was, and I also felt like I could really relate and get a feel for him as a person. So it is written in a brilliant way. It is very easy to understand, very easy to follow, and you just want to keep on reading and being engaged in it. So I'll give you like a few little snippets, like top 5 things that I found interesting and have learned from this book, apart from actually just generally getting to know this person, maybe not personally, obviously, but through the book I've learned so much about him, about his life, about his morals, about focus, about leadership, about serving to customers and coming up with great products, and it's just been very, very interesting for me personally. So something that you can learn from here is the book goes into a lot of detail regards to the companies that are involved in tech business. So it's the HP, and it talks about Intel, and it talks about IBM. It also talks about Windows, Microsoft, obviously, about Google, and about Apple. It compares it. It gives you a bit of a knowledge for tech. I mean, if you're really tech savvy and know a lot about computers, perhaps it's not really something that's new to you, but not many people, well, some people do know about it, but a lot of people don't. So I think it's actually, like, it was helpful for me, and it was interesting and engaging enough, and I've learned a lot about Mac and Apple products as well, and I kind of can value them. Like, it's funny, at times I thought that this is like an ad for Mac and for Apple products, but in reality they are like such good products. And now that I'm using an iPhone, and we have an Apple TV, and I have MacBook, like, I can actually tell the difference, and I'm definitely pro Mac, and I've had iPods and things like that in the past. And an interesting thing is that this guy has developed like products that has changed the generations, the industries, and it's very incredible, and it's just really, big kudos to him. So yeah, it goes into talking about the open integration systems versus closed integration systems. If you're into that, if you're interested, you'll definitely, learn a couple of things, or interested in getting to know and learning about those kind of things. It's pretty cool, and it's funny how it goes into a lot of debates between Steve Jobs and Bill Gates as well, and I found that quite amusing. So, okay, things that this book taught me, apart from the whole knowledge and interest type things, is being brutally honest with people. It might not make you everyone's friend, and not everyone might appreciate it and like you. Rather, not everyone's going to like you, but it makes a good leader and it gives results. And sometimes it is just really important not to just beat around the bush and try and make everyone happy with what you say and how you approach the subject. If you think something is shit, if you want to just wake up the person and tell them blatantly and even roughly of what, like, this is it and this is how I feel and this is what I think. And if the person wants to, they'll listen to you. If they don't, they don't, right? But it is important to be honest with people, and it will give you good results long term. As you know, you could see of what Steve Jobs created with his company of, you know, A players, basically top-notch staff, top-notch people. Something else that really like kind of came to mind and I couldn't like just shake it off is the perfection. Like, no one is perfect, and we all have heard that, but in reality is like what you think is perfect right now at this moment, whether it is to do with perfect situation in life, perfect job, perfect partner or whatever, may be completely different in 5 years or in 1 year or even 3 months. Like, so much can happen to you, so much mentally can change in your head that you can't just get so like, you know, get such a narrow vision and say, okay, this is perfect, this is like it, this is what I want. I can't consider any of those other pathways, options, opportunities, whatever. If it's like you're thinking about who you're in relationship with or in terms of a job, like, it's good to strive for perfection. It's good to know what you want and go for it and work really hard. But sometimes we do need to take those other jobs, right, that might not be like a perfect job, or we become friends with the person that, you know, we're not really kind of thinking, oh, usually generally I wouldn't be friends with this person, but for right now I am. And you end up learning so much from that person or from that job of living in that city. Like, I don't know, if you want to live in New York but you get an opportunity to work in Toronto, like, and you're just sitting there thinking, no, I don't want to live in Toronto. Well, like, seriously, sometimes you just got to go for the opportunities that are given to you because they're the right opportunities at that right time. And what do you know, maybe in 10 years time you'll be like, who the hell cares about living in New York? I can't think of anything better than living in Canada, in Toronto, where I've been like for the last whatever years, because I have this amazing life, and I would have not gotten to it if I didn't take that opportunity that was presented to me, even though it wasn't perfect at the time. It worked out like exactly the thing I needed at that perfect timing, that perfect moment. Does that make sense? And yeah, there is no perfect people, like, no one is perfect. And the fact is that even if we do find someone who is perfect, like, they're not perfect. And what is perfection? It's just like this image in our head that we think this person should be, or the things that we can relate to in this person. That, like, I'm talking relationship wise now. So like, there's no perfection. And in 5 years time, you're going to be like, so you're going to be such a different person. So why stress out and like go through all these things in your head and in your mind thinking, oh, this person is not this person is not that, or this situation, when in reality, you know, the idea of the perfection that you have in your head might not be perfect itself. And like, I guarantee it's not perfect even. Like, you think you want XYZ right now, but seriously, in like 3 years time or 5 years time or in a decade, you're gonna want completely different things. But why even look that far? Maybe like in a couple of months, like, you meet something, you'll read something, you see something, you'll experience something in life, and your view is gonna be completely different on what you want right now. This is seriously going off on somewhat of a tangent, but like, seriously, take the opportunities that you're given. Say yes to chances. You'll be happy. Oh, another interesting thing is that he's a vegan. This guy's a vegan. I mean, I know he died of cancer, but his life is completely different to everyone else's lives, right? And not that we don't stress in our daily life, but this guy was a CEO of 2 companies at the same time, and he had a family, and he's gone through a phase when he did lots of drugs, and you can't just, like, being a vegan actually is not going to make you perfect. So it gives you the best chance of fighting off the disease, but it doesn't mean that you have like this bubble and nothing can get you in terms of like infections or diseases. So I think it's awesome that he's vegan, and most of like his family, a lot of his family were vegan for at least a certain portion of time. And it's been very, very interesting getting to know him, learning about this great person and about his spiritual journey. Did you know that he went to India and spent like months and months just living in India, talking to gurus and working on meaning of life and what he's doing here and what he wants to do, and just incredible. Like, you can't explain, you know. I hope you're getting the feel for the book after, I know it's like 700 pages and I can go on and on and on about it. It's been very interesting for me. And just so I'm not going on about this for freaking half an hour, I'll give you a quick little snippet of what I found the most interesting, well, one of a really, really interesting quotes from the book. Yeah, that basically like really kind of stood out to me. As you know, Steve Jobs had cancer and he fought it, he went through chemotherapy, and what happened then is that he went back to work, and then cancer came back, because that's what chemo does. It makes your cancer come back because it destroys your immune system, and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so this is a lecture that he gave at Stanford and to some students, and he is basically, there's one little interesting quote, is the heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again. Less sure about everything. So this is him talking about starting out with Next, which was his second company after he was removed from Apple as the CEO, you know, first time when they fired him from being in Apple because he needed to learn things. And like, this is great. Like, this book is amazing because it shows you how your journey can change so much for the duration of the life, that your failings are not really failings, they're just lessons. And once you've learned the lesson, you go into the next one. But the most interesting bit of the speech is this bit. Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you're going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You're already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. This is beautiful. This is so incredible. The thing is, what are we even afraid of? What are we freaking afraid of? Sitting cooped up in our houses, being afraid to move left or right, away from the society, and making these drastic, crazy, big choices that we sit around dreaming about in our daily lives, or even sometimes afraid to dream about, just because we think they're too outrageous or out of control out there. What are we so afraid of? Like, who cares about expectations from other people? What other people expect of us? Like, who the hell cares? Like, this is, you know, you're gonna be dead soon. Maybe some sooner than others, but like, almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you're going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You're already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. So go follow your heart, figure out what your mission, I already talked about this before, but figure out why you're here, what you want to do. Stop doing the boring 9 to 5, stop following the rat race, and just freaking live. Figure out what is it that you want to do, what do you dream about, and then take the leap of faith. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You'll fail, you'll succeed the next time, and you don't even know if you'll fail or not in the first place. I'll do another video on this because I just thought of a really awesome story, but this video is getting too long. So lots of love to you guys. Thanks for watching it. Check out this really, really cool book. and I hope you're having an amazing day. Remember to stop counting calories, start counting hills, count your passions, count your adventures, and have a brilliant, wonderful day. Lots of love to you guys. Bye.